Woo woo!
We're recording.
Okay, thank you all for being here. We are going to be talking about these questions that we discussed as a group on this case study. And so the first question was, what legal decisions and or classroom decisions were made in this case? That the girl was going to have a Spanish aide 2 hours a day, 4 days a week, and was going to be placed in a special education classroom full-time. The next question is, what procedures illustrated best practice and what procedures illustrated less than best practice? We discussed how showing a need for one-on-one help, but being placed in a sped classroom, and seeing the unusual case are immediately called to an IEP meeting.
Next question was the assessment consistent with appropriate ethical conduct expected from professionals? And we discussed it was administered by a school psychologist and monitored for 4 weeks. And I can't see more than that. I can't see number 4.
Is it on the right spot?
Yeah, it's just number 1.
Is mine frozen?
So it's the number 1 for test interpretation issues. We have lost your picture.
Yeah, I only can see 3.
Okay.
I can do it.
Okay.
Okay. So
Sorry.
the next question is it acceptable practice in administer formal assessments to a child who has been in the United States for 1 year and who did not attend school in Mexico? Why or why not? And we said it's kind of both. It's yes or no. Because finding a baseline is important, but since she cannot read in either language, adding accommodation of readings it to her in both languages and other helps. Am I freezing? No, okay. Noted by the teachers to see where she is to help best place her. And then after that one, the next question is, are current assessment results biased by Esther's cultural background and or original language? And we said no, because she didn't have a bias in Spanish or English because she wasn't proficient in either. And then number 3. Based on the assessment information described Esther's current level of functioning. And we said although Esther scored below average on the verbal and performance scale, she had relative strengths in visual perception of concrete relationships and verbal reasoning. Her relative weaknesses included long-term recall of factual information, mental arithmetic, short-term auditory recall, visual concentration, and visual monitor sequences. Esther's academic and language skills were below average.
Okay, number 4. Does Esther have a disability or mental impairment? If so, what evidence supports this conclusion? If not, why not? We discussed how we don't think that she has a mental impairment because she's just behind in school because she wasn't given a proper education, and she shows having the skills that she's been taught, that was taught in the orphanage, and she just needs someone to take time to teach her in a school.
Okay, we describe what you know about Esther's original cultural and language background. She grew up in Mexico and was taken away from her parents at 7 due to abuse. She was raised for 2.5 years in an orphanage, but never received any formal education while there. She was brought to the U.S., and it was a year before any testing began, and she could not read Spanish and was limited in speaking Spanish as well.
Next one says, describe what you know about Esther's assimilation into her adopted culture and language. And we said that she knows the alphabet, some letters, sounds, and names, but sometimes will reverse the letters. She can make stories verbally with help and likes books and puzzles. And then the next one says, how does Esther's regular education 3rd grade teacher feel about teaching Esther and why? She would like more one-on-one time with her because she knows that she needs it, but she feels like she lacks the appropriate materials to teach her.